Welcome back, my brothers, and welcome to anybody who's new to my channel. In this video, I'm gonna try to show this the best way that I can, explain how to clean your PCP high pressure air pump. You're gonna need some paper towel or a cloth, maybe some gloves, Q-tips, some oil, filters, and Allen keys. You're gonna wanna plug the hose and take out that choke and try to get all the water out. Just pump it out, it'll spat out. And you want to clean that choke where the screw goes in. Any spot that you can, you're going to want to wipe it out and get all that gook out. If you want this pump to last a long time, you got to do this. You want to wipe down the shaft. You got to have that all the way up. And if your pump has this ring, you got to get all the oil off that ring. Try to wipe it down the best that you can. Try to get everything off the best of your ability. All right. Most of these pumps are the same. So when you take off the bottom, there should be this big bolt in the bottom. So we'll pop that off. You're going to want to take all the oil off of that. And there's probably going to be this ring that's like a O-ring kind of deal. You got to clean that. Anywhere where there's going to be any type of air pressure, you got to wipe it down, because that oil is going to work its way down to the tip where the filters are. So there's this piece in there. A lot of them have this piece. There's an O-ring on the end of it, and there's a spring. You'll wipe that down the best that you can. And try to use good Q-tips, not the cheap ones, because you don't want any of those little fibers getting stuck in your pump, because that'll eventually clog stuff up. So you want to make sure that you look at all that gook in there. Just make sure that it's all out. So you can actually take off where the choke is. There's another screw part. Wipe that down. Wipe that out. You'd be surprised where that oil finds itself and any of that dirt, soot, and everything else. So when you put this back on, don't over tighten it, because it won't allow the air to come out or go through the pump properly. That secondary choke part. And yeah, you can use a cloth or paper towel. Try not to use cheap paper towel. Get that the best you can. You can take your hose off. There's probably going to be a little bit of gook here. A little bit of extra water, moisture, oil. Probably just water in this part. Maybe a little bit of soot, a little bit of oil residue. Clean it all. Alright, this is actually a second filter that I bought. The skinny one came with the pump, and this is another one that I bought, because that one alone wasn't keeping all the water out. So I always wipe these out, because there's always little water droplets inside. And make sure you wipe it out. There's usually no dirt in there. It usually gets caught in the filter, but there's always a little bit of water. So put a new one in there. And there's water in there. So that's why I use the Q-tips, because they work good. You can get in there and take it all out. New filter, boom. Twist that on there nice and tight. And a lot of these are the same, so you just take that off, and the filter's on the inside. There's usually not much dirt or anything in there. It's mostly just water. Pop that sucker out just like that. Seems like a little rust on that one. You just wipe that out. New filter, bam. I use an Allen key, just poke it in there like that. Make sure it's nice and tight. And boom. There's the filters. Easy. Now this top, if your pump is like this one, it should unscrew just like this. And this pulls out this long, skinny metal piece. It'll be covered in gook, and so just wipe that off the best that you can. This is like the oil reservoir where the air chamber is. Right down there, that's where all the oil sits. So when we put new oil in there, all this oil is turned black because of the pressure and friction over like 1,000 or 1,500 pumps. So we got to get it out the best that you can, because this is the oil that eventually finds its way all through the pump and near the end of the pump. So wipe that out. We'll screw that back on so I can take the handles off next, and then I'll show you the next part in there. So we take that off. Take these screws out. And now when you take this out, there will be this little pin at the end right there. You should be able to pull that out or push it out with something small, like a small Allen key or something. It should be no problem. And then that comes off. See how that's all dirty? And there's a little rubber ball inside there, so make sure you clean the pin, because the air goes past all these parts, right? That's why I'm wiping everything down. This prevents any type of soot and stuff from getting inside your air tanks. Wipe that down, and I even use the Q-tips to get into the screw grooves, because even that, like that soot can find its way into the air hose. So you want to wipe all that down, get rid of all of it, make it look brand new. So you poke your Q-tip or whatever in there, and the rubber ball should come out. If you ever notice a rubber ball in your spare parts that comes with the pump, that's where it's from. It's from right there. You want to wipe that down because that's got some gook on it, some oil residue. You want to clean the inside of that. There'll be a little bit of probably moisture in there, a little bit of dirt. So yeah, you want to wipe all that out. There'll be moisture in there, a little bit of oil residue. Just make it look brand new, nice and clean. Just pop that rubber ball back in there like that. Use a little Allen key, pop, and then boom, just like brand new. I will wipe this thing over and over and over again, go back in it with Q-tips. I do this until all that black soot's gone. So we'll put that thing back in the bottom now. Just push that back down in there until it just sits in there. And the reason why I'm using a tiny bit of oil on that screw is because it's starting to rust and corrode. So, you know, the oil will help it a little bit, but only a tiny bit. I want to tighten that up nice and tight. Boom. And this is the choke screw. I'm just wiping it off to make sure there's no gook on that. Putting it back in. And now that piece, just put that right back on, line it up, put the pin in. Super easy. There. Alright, so in here, 10 drops. This is what it says on the manual that it came with. So 10 drops. It's probably the same for yours if you have this style of pump. Just make sure you're reading your manual. Make sure you count it properly. So you see how all that oil is sitting in there? That's exactly how it should be. Look brand new, nice, clear, brand new oil. So you put that down, screw your handle back on, nice and tight, and then you'll be able to screw that screw back in place. Just using the handle makes it so much easier. You just swivel it on just like that. And then tighten it the best that you can. Boom. That's done. And then tighten your hose back on. Put that foot piece back on. Remember, don't over tighten parts that have to do with air restriction, like the hose and stuff like that. Don't ever over tighten any of that. And now here, the shaft, you want to use 3 drops. This is what most of the manuals say for most of these pumps. So 3 drops, and then you can use your finger if you want to move that around, and then you twist it around. Make sure that it's all even all along there. I see me twisting it up and down. I just twist it up and down, and then that way it gets all over it. So this allows it to glide. And yeah, so I usually keep that piece on there, and boom, just like that, we're done. Thanks for watching, y'all. Peace.